to everybody, wherever you are in the world. This is Khoisan Talks, our channel focusing on Khoisan and our history, our current communities, and our culture, as well as our spirituality. My name is Sabiha. I am a South African Khoisan girl, um, particularly the Khorikgokwa tribe. Um, and we are located at the base of the foot of the mountains in Cape Town. Joining me is our lovely guest, Jessica Passon. Um, Tonight's discussion will be about our current communities and the stands of the Khoisan in the southernmost part of Africa. As most of you know, those who have been watching us or those who are new, also welcome to you. The Khoisan are the indigenous population of southern Africa. We span Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, and parts of Angola. And we are the first or the natives of southern Africa. As a matter of fact, science has proven that not only is the Khoisan the first nation in Africa, but we are the first nation to exist in the world, according to DNA. We are the ones who inhabited the rest of the world. We are the ones who started humanity, modern humans, as they call us. Before civilization started, the Khoisan was the first civilization to exist on this planet in the form that we are now, human beings. So tonight I want to introduce, or I'll let my co-host introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. Like my sister said, good evening or good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our show, and I hope we will be able to enlighten you tonight on whatever we get guided to. And please like, subscribe, and share. And you are most welcome to give us any comment. If there's any questions, we will definitely answer to the best we can. And thank you once again for viewing, for tuning in, and please stay tuned. Thank you, Sabiha.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for your wisdom. Just to reiterate what my sister said, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and share our video with friends and family and people of similar consciousness. Like I said, tonight we'll be talking about the Khoisan and our current situation within our land and our communities. It just so happens that the reason that this conversation was sparked for me was because of what has been happening in Maui, in Hawaii, to the island there. The particular island escapes my mind now, but it is a tourist destination. And recently there was a national disaster that happened there where fires broke out, destroyed so much flora, fauna, and took some fatalities as well. And when I was watching the news as it was going, I was thinking of the native Mawans or the native Hawaiians and their struggle with getting their native lands back. It's interesting that most natives around the world have similar stories. The Khoisan, we have a similar story to the Hawaiians. I think of the Aborigines in Australia, they have a similar story to what we have. I think about the American Indians, the Apaches. They have a similar story to ours. Everywhere where we seem to find native inhabitants, the first of the people to live on the land, I find that we are the most oppressed right around the globe on our own lands. The Khoisan is not exempt from this, can I call it a phenomenon that is happening within the different communities or the different nations that inhabit this world. South Africa, in particular, where I am, um, we have no rights. We have no political influence in South Africa. We are still called a derogatory term. It is actually in our official documents to tick us off as being colored. And as most of the world knows, colored is a derogatory term for a native person of color. It means a people without um, a land
Tradition,
or rights. Yes,
tradition.
yes. And
Like a nothing.
like nothing. Yes, we just don't exist. We have no rights. We have nothing. We have no rights, no laws, no claim to anything. And even after apartheid, which many people now understand that South Africa was under, after the colonization of the Khoisan. And interestingly, the Khoisan is the first nation in the history of the world to be colonized. Um, it's something so that has influenced African people and melanated people and people of dark skin color. Colonization has ruined our civilizations, put complete stops to our civilizations. Yet most people of color do not know that the Khoisan were the first people to be colonized um, by foreigners, particularly European colonizers. Before, there were influx of Bantus. As we know, the Bantus migrated into southern Africa about 3,000 years ago from Nigeria, those surrounding areas. And they are called Bantus, which is a different, although African, they are not native to southern Africa. Southern Africa has a unique group of people called the Khoisan, which is also
Yes.
African as us. Yes. And so after apartheid, um, when we thought as Khoisan people, we were finally going to get our liberation with our Bantu brothers and sisters, namely the Zulus in South Africa. There are Zulus, there are Xhosas, Isipedi, Tshwane. They are also in South Africa, in Namibia, this tribe. What do
Yes.
you call them in Namibia, sis?
The Bantus. The
Yeah,
Bantus,
that particular tribe.
it's the Oshun,
Tshwane,
it's the Tswanas.
the Tswanas. Yes, yes. They are
Yes.
also here in Southern Africa, but what I came to find out when I went to visit Namibia recently is that they are actually a Khoisan tribe, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, a Khoisan tribe from Namibia. But even they claim to be different from the Bantus, but yet they identify as a Bantu nation.
As a
Um,
Bantu nation. Yes.
yes, their
But
language is recognized in South Africa.
you, sorry, sis, sorry to interrupt your wisdom. Um, you spoke about our people being still called colored, and in Cape Town they get this thing of ticking off when you enter a shop or something. You should tick off colored, either colored, black, or white.
Yes.
So
There are
I think
actually four classifications in South Africa. There are four classifications. They are white, There are Bantu, there's colored, and then there's also Indian.
Mm. Mm.
Those are the four highest nationalities, the high-ranking
Yes.
nationalities. There
Yes.
is a box for other, of course.
Yeah. So you spoke a bit earlier about us being oppressed basically as a Khoisan nation, which they call colored in their minds. I say in their minds because that's exactly how it is. So something happened here. You know, there's the elections that's coming up, and our different parties, especially the winning party right now here in Namibia, they are busy campaigning here. And I saw this campaign that happened in Rehoboth. Now, Rehoboth is where most of our people are, especially
Hmm.
our people.
You're talking Khoisan now.
Yes, yes, yes. And these people were campaigning, and I just throw in a comment there and say, but please tell me that's now to the ruling party, which is Bantu,
Right.
because
So in
they
Namibia, your ruling party, the same as South Africa, our ruling parties are Bantus.
they are Bantus. Yes.
Yes, which is not the natives. Most people don't know these are not the native people of Southern Africa. The
Mm.
Bantus are a group of people that trekked here or migrated here to Southern Africa, inhabiting Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and South Africa.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So they had this campaign going on, and when I heard they are in Rehoboth, what came to my mind was, what are they doing there? Because that is the least, one of the least places that they go to invest in.
Yes.
And my comment was, but what are you doing there? We are the nothing. We are the no one.
Mm,
We don't have a
mm,
culture. Why do you need us?
mm, mm,
Because to my understanding, you don't need me.
mm,
You just need me for your gain
mm, mm,
and your
mm,
glory. That's the only reason you need me. That's the only reason that you want me to vote for you.
mm,
So my message was to my people, stop entertaining these people.
mm,
Stand your
mm,
ground. You don't have to vote for them. Why do you
mm,
have to vote for someone who doesn't see you in the first place as a human being? Because they don't see us.
mm, mm.
And I hope I can say this as much today on tonight or this morning or whenever you watch this video, that my people should stop. We should start to invest in one another, to build in
Yes.
our own communities.
Mm,
That's where we should start. And stop promoting these people who
mm,
see us as nothing and no one.
mm.
Thank you, sis.
It's not common knowledge. Sorry to interrupt your wisdom, sis.
No,
But
no,
it's
no. I was done. Thank you, sis.
thank you, sis. It is not common knowledge as to what is happening in the southern part of Africa. A lot of people don't even know that we exist. They hear the word colored and they think that we are some type of mixed race with something else to become this person. Most Bantus think that um, a Bantu and a white person had a baby, and so we sprung up.
Mm.
Those are the very ignorant ones, the ones who have no, I'm just going to be honest, who have very little education on anything really Southern African, which I
Can I
find is a
say?
common thing
Can
here
I
in
say
Southern Africa.
education, education of self?
Yes, yes, yes. Um, it is very sad sometimes for me when I talk to them because I have to explain all these things to them that I am African like them. As a matter of fact, this is my native land. You are a foreigner here as well, on
Mm,
particularly the southernmost tip of Africa.
yes, yes.
And it's different from the colonizers. I would also like to say from the white colonizers. We recognize that our Bantus are our family. We recognize that we are the origin. We are all humans' origin, but particularly African. We are your origin. And so to live in this time when we are supposed to have our freedom, we are supposed to have our independence, we are supposed to build up our land again, that we share so freely with you, we share so willingly with you, that you take on the role of our colonizer, of our oppressor, and you put us back in that box. We have no rights. We're not even seen as African
Mm,
in Hmm. In Africa, in my native South Africa, I am seen as not African. And when I ask them, then what am I? They tell me I'm other. I say, other of what?
mm,
What am I this other
mm,
of? Because I
mm.
can trace my roots back to my great great grandmother, who was an African woman who lived on a mountain that was annexed by the colonizers that still have our land, and especially in the Western Cape, where our biggest tribes were. Our biggest tribes were in the Western Cape. We have lost our land. We lost our language. We couldn't speak our language at all. We couldn't wear our traditional pieces at all. It was seen as you could be killed. It is a death sentence if you displayed anything Khoisan at all.
So it was basically it was against the law.
It was against the law. Yes, it was against the law to be a Khoisan
Mm.
in
I want
Southern
to ask,
Africa.
sis, there's something, sorry to interrupt you. There's something I wanted to ask you whether it also happened or transpired there until now or back then. Um, our Khoisan men are known for being builders, being construction, very good in building houses, etc. So they get so demoralized here. They get so humiliated. I'm saying humiliated because that's exactly what being done to them. Um, when they go for a job, whether it's to tile, to build a house, those that I know of, they get either get paid a bottle of wine or $7 an hour, $5. They have their amounts that they ask per hour, but then mostly they get treated in that way over here. I don't know if it's the same that side,
Seven
but
Namibian dollars, $7 an hour.
let me say one guy 2 weeks back were paid $5.50 per hour.
Yes. Now, I just want to clarify with the people who are watching because there might be other people watching that don't understand that Namibia
Yes,
also uses dollar sign
dollars,
as a currency, but it
Namibian
is not
dollars. Yes,
an American dollar. It is
yes,
a Namibian dollar. Yes.
yes, yes. So for me, the reason why we talk about this specific topic tonight is to bring our men back to their masculinity, for them to be honored again in our houses, for the women to stay at home again. Not really so much because the world evolved, but for the men to take the role again as men, because our men has been so uh, brought down to a point where they feel they don't matter anymore due to the outside people, individuals that supposedly their employers, which are degrading them in such a manner.
mm,
So I
mm.
don't know, does it also happen that side?
Yes. The stories are awfully familiar. We have always been the builders, like you said, in our societies. Only recently that our Bantu brothers and sisters, or our Bantu brothers, have come into construction and building.
Mm, mm,
And a lot of tradesmen, and so many, I know so many tradesmen who started really struggling because there was just no jobs for them anymore, where that was the main trade that our people had to survive. When we lost the rights to our farms and to our land, because that is who we were before. We were mostly farmers and lived a agricultural lifestyle, if I can call it like that. The next thing that we made money off from was building,
mm,
and those jobs were taken away. They were replaced, and contracts, like you said, because there are Bantu people in government. The ANC is a Bantu organization. They um, give tenders predominantly to Bantus, other Bantus. And the Khoisan have had very difficult times in construction, which I mentioned earlier was their main form of income, the breadwinners. Yeah,
yes, yes.
it is quite sad what is happening in Southern Africa, and most people don't know that Khoisan, we are here. We are still fighting for our land. We are still
Mm.
fighting for freedom. We are still trying to regain recognition in our on our
Yes,
own land,
yes.
recognized as African, as indigenous, as
Mm.
the same right. If not, I should not have, if not, then better rights than my Bantu brothers and sisters here because they too are foreigners here. The
Mm.
Khoisan are the indigenous people of this land, and we
Mm.
are the most oppressed. I traveled recently to Namibia,
Mm.
viewers. I went to visit my sister, and we worked in a community called Henties Bay.
Mm.
And as we drove in to the community, there was a separate community that the colonizers had built for themselves that is outside of this big town or the town that we were actually going to. They wanted to be separate from the rest of the community, which is mixed between Khoisan, Bantu, and white. And as we drove in, my sister was with me. As we drove in, there was a hang pole, a hanging pole in one of the colonizers' yards, just standing there proudly. I was so shocked when I saw the thing. We had driven past it, and then I said, "Is that a hanging pole? Is that a hang pole?" And you said, "Yes, it's a hang pole." And I
Mm.
reversed back. This
Mm.
is these are the attacks that we still are enduring today. And while we were there, Jess, whoever was living there had phoned the security company.
Yeah.
And while we were standing there, they came past to check what we were doing there, looking at this hanging pole. But what made me sad was the guys who came to check on us were Bantus.
Yes.
So they are aware that this hanging pole is in this colonizer's yard, the same hang pole that symbolizes the Khoisan's demise,
Mm.
the destruction of our civilization, is proudly still standing there. And they can pick up the phone and phone my brother, Bantu, to say, listen, go get that Khoisan away there.
Mm.
So this is the humiliation that the Khoisan are still facing today. And when we got to um, the town that we were going to do the work in, the poverty. Now, I then booked myself, or we booked ourselves into a lodge or a B&B, which is on the white side of town, the colonizer side of town.
Mm.
And it was by the ocean and it's beautiful, and it's everything modern is there. And then you drive 2 minutes up the road and I'm in a place where my people are, where the Khoisan have been dumped, it seems. And people are still living in shacks and there's no roads and um, there's no real shops, there's no real
Mm.
commerce, business happening anywhere for them, you know. And as in most of our communities, there's like 5 or 6 churches there that is supposed to save my people, yet there's nothing else to help them earn a living. This is the nature of our communities in southern Africa. So I want you to explain your experiences living in Namibia as a Khoisan girl, seeing what is happening.
It's like you said, sis. It's sad because some of our own people, they working for these people which we known as the colonizer. They're working for these people for 100 a day. In our labor law says they must get paid $75 per day. So our labor law, our winning party, our presidential party is the party that's leading Namibia, which is the Bantu, which we know as the Oshibambu people.
Mm, mm,
So most of them are coming from the parts of Angola. They are not actually, this is not their land, but they decided that they conquered Namibia. They are the rightful owners of this country, which is not true. Yeah. So in this small town of Henties Bay, where my sister come to see us, our Khoisan people get so much oppressed here that they have no other choice but to work for 50, 70, $100 per day. And then they would work until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I mean, I'm a community activist as we speak. I'm a revolutionary. And our people, I get phone calls daily of people being oppressed here, of men. Most men are calling me even. They don't get paid well. And I just don't want to stuck there on this topic the whole night. But my people are living in shacks, and it's not even proper shacks. It's because of the coastal weather that they had to make the shacks out of hard board, like ceiling board. And they cannot even afford that. They can't even afford that. Some roofs are covered with plastic bags or that hard type of plastic.
When you say
So
plastic bags, you mean the shopping carrier bags, the
no,
shopping bags,
it's
like
more
the
like
dirt bin bags.
the bags that you use when the things get covered by when you buy furniture and stuff, that big plastic bags.
Ah,
Yeah.
mm,
So
almost like a
we
top. They use almost like a top. Mm.
yes. So even you did you see a tent? You know what a tent is.
Yes, yes.
So that tent, usually they will also use pieces of a tent that's been thrown away or they buy it from the white people and they will continue building their shacks with that. So when the strong winds come, it's disastrous.
Mm, 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 mm.
I visited I visited a mom with her two children once. The way those people are living, it's on another level.
Mm.
I really don't have words for this, what's going on here. Our town, the small town of Henties Bay, is so behind that our people, I think they just gave up. They just gave up on life. They've accepted things that's happening. The shops, we only have three shops in Henties Bay, which is USafe, which is ShopRite, which is Spa. That's Namibian shops for the people that's not of Africa.
Yeah,
Um,
Shoprite is far into Africa, so people recognize. I think most Africans would recognize Shoprite. I'm not too sure about Spa, but Spa
yeah,
is also in South Africa. Mm.
yeah. So there's a ShopRite, there's a Spa, and there's a Woermanenbroek is a colonizing shop. It's like just
It's a
for
German,
German people. It's a
owned.
German shop. Yes. So, and then we have only one clothing shop in Henties Bay, which is Pep Stores. There were two
Mm.
other clothing shops. There were two other clothing shops, but they got closed down due to competition. So
Do
our
you know?
people can.
Do you know the population? Sorry, sis, to interrupt your wisdom. Do you know the population of Intis?
We spoke about the population the other day, and we came to we were just guessing randomly. It wasn't like we got it from somewhere or what. It was close to 5,000. Yeah.
5,000 people. So, are you saying that you've never seen a census of Intis?
No, no.
There's
Everything
no
is
census.
so. Our people, most of me and your people are in the municipality. Most of us are in the municipality, and everything is so. They just hide this kind of information, which is supposed to be there for everybody. But apart from that, I never seen a census or something. Yeah.
That is crazy. There is something that I seem to, that's familiar to what they do to native people. There's never a census of us. The census somehow changes. I saw a census going from 1890 to 1903, where 18 Let me just get it was the very late 80s, 1800s, very late 1800s, almost 19. They were counting the census of Khoisan to be the majority in the land in southern Africa. And then you get the next census, which is the early 19, like 1902 or 1903, and all of a sudden there's no more Khoisan. It's these colored people that are mixed. They somehow seem to do this trick often or a lot, or the same trick when it comes to people of native descent. They did the same thing to the American Indians in America, where you have no idea how many there are. You have no idea where they are. You have no idea anything about them. There's just no census. The census keeps changing about the natives, as well as the Hawaiians. Those
Mm.
people have been fighting and saying that they are not part of America since they were annexed more than 100 years ago. They are still fighting for their country. It's the same as here in Southern Africa, where they said that the Khoisan um, uh, made a deal with the colonizers. Where are these things? Where is
Mm.
the that we made a deal with the colonizers? We, when they came here, we were trading our sheep with them. They were hungry. We were feeding them
Because they like meat.
because they loved meat, and we had plenty. We were stinking rich. And I'm not talking about the Bantus.
Mm.
I'm not talking about the Bantus. The Dutch only interacted with the Bantus after they decimated the Khoisan tribes. When Bartholomeus and his ilk came here in the 1500s, Shaka Zulu only came around in the 1800s. But in the
Yeah.
1500s, these people were already dealing with the Khoisan, and they knew that we were the indigenous people.
Mm.
Something, a famous face, I suppose, that we can name is Sarki
Mm.
Bartman. They didn't take a Bantu girl, they took a Khoi girl because that is the people that they encountered here. Khoisan.
Mm.
Only after they fought us here and trekked up to East London or the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, where our Zulu tribes were. That is the first time, and that seems to be the only history in the history books when the colonizers met Shaka Zulu. But for 200 years before that, we, the Khoisan, were already fighting them, having dealings with them.
Sis, do you also have houses there? Like in Henty's Bay, most houses are not occupied, especially on the side where they bought their houses back then, whenever that was. Um, most people that's having these houses here are either out of the country. Most of them are Germans and Boers, like we know them. Um, so these houses are closed. They're only occupied during holidays, but it's their own property and stuff. Do you also have that there in
Oh,
South Africa?
yes, all over. But I think because Namibia is a tourist destination, it's more a
Mm,
vacation spot. When I go to Namibia, it feels like I'm on a vacation all the time because of
mm,
how beautiful it is there. You have the
mm.
desert and the ocean. You have the nature reserves. Um, I can't remember that place in between. As you go to Katima, there's this Kruger, the national park. Well, we have the Kruger National Park. You have the national
Etosha.
park that's, sorry,
Are you talking about Etosha?
Etosha. Yes, yes, Etosha. And, but this is how they benefit, how they, um, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? The thievery. I have no other one. I don't have a nice way of saying it. This is their thievery, where
mm,
they have holiday homes in our coastal cities, yet they don't live here. But our people live in shacks and in tents and under tops. It makes no sense at all. And these are all stolen lands. These
mm,
are not lands that these people bought. These are inherited stolen lands,
mm,
stolen from Khoisan. And when I was in Hinties, I couldn't wrap my mind around how well they live. They live so well on these beautiful beachfront properties. And there's such with such luxury too. And you drive down the road and people, our people, the native people of the land, the who the land actually belongs to, live 2 minutes down the road on barren lands in shacks. But yes, it happens in South Africa as well. I think it is more visible though in Namibia.
it is. It's more visible here. It's more visible over here, and our people. The difference between our people, there is no difference. But our people are not so outspoken as your people over there, or as our people over there. Sorry, they just accept things as they come. They would rather complain. I don't know. Our own people. I don't know if they are scared or if they gave up. But when I encounter these things myself by walking into a situation where our people are being oppressed, and I like to speak for people. I like to stand up for people. And I won't sit there and see that one of my own get mistreated. I will speak, although you don't have to give me permission to speak, but I will speak for you. I will speak on behalf of you.
Mm.
So our people, the other day, she's cleaning houses by this white lady. And she came by me and she said the lady doesn't want to pay her, but what should she do? I said, then you should just call the labor commission and lay a complaint, or you can go report the case there. And then she said, but she also gave me food. I asked her, is there a problem with that? And she said, no, the food were like 5 days old. And
Wow.
she was complaining about the food smelled rotten. But the lady that she worked, the white lady, basically, so to say, forced her to eat. Not force, but you can eat the food. You can eat the food, and then you don't have to make ABC. So I then told her that if I stand up for you, will you continue to fight for what you want? Because I can connect you with the right people within the court to address this situation at hand. But I would love to put it out here, sis, and sorry to say this, but our own people, once you stand up for them, once you go and help them, they will also sometimes you go full blown. They will just later on stand back and wait, expect you to do the job. That is what our own
I
people
think
are doing.
I think I've had similar issues with our people. But when you study our history, Khoisan history, and the brutality of the colonizers on us, and then the betrayal of our Bantu brothers and sisters when eventually we did get our freedom, it does make it would make any community give up, isn't it? It's it's 2023 and we are still trying to get just to be recognized in our
mm,
country. See us. And it's 2023. People seem to lose faith and lose hope that things can change or that it will change. You spoke about our men earlier and the assault that has happened on our Khoisan men, where they have emasculated our men, making them feel less than by the system is set up against us, Khoisan men. If they hear you have a particular name, and again, we have to tick the box still so they can identify us. And then they can say, listen here, this one doesn't get the job because he's a Khoisan man. And go through the same procedures everybody does. We get our education, we go to school, we follow the same rules. But when it comes to getting equal opportunities in terms of jobs, property, then we are marginalized. We are crooked, like we've always been. But now is the time for our people, I believe, to wake up. Now is the time. Our people have now seen enough. It is 27, 28 years since our freedom, Namibian and South African democracy.
30, 30 for us, 30, 31,
No,
31.
it's 30, then it's 31 for us too. Sorry, sorry. I lose track of these things
Yes,
because you
me too.
got, yeah,
Yeah.
we we got our independence at the same time because South Africa got
Um,
independence.
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
There's one more thing before we finish off. Um, we spoke earlier about tenders. You remember? About tenders that's been given to earlier today. We spoke about it earlier today.
Mm.
Tenders that's been given to the Bantus. Is it because they are, I'm going to say it as it is, they crepe gat because they lick ass.
Yes. Our Bantus here are still playing to the colonizers' um, whistle, so to speak. They're still dancing to their beat.
Mm,
Um, the Bantus are saying, you are destroying our lands, our ancestral lands. You are mining our mother to extinction. You are trawling our oceans so that there's almost nothing left. They've now made deals with the Chinese and the Russians. And these people are coming in and just taking, just mining. When we went recently to Namibia, all the mines that the Chinese owned, I was so shocked and surprised. But
mm,
what they are doing currently, the Bantus are doing, is that they are selling our mother off for the cheapest bid, just digging into her. And Koi, this is something that we are fighting against. We don't want
mm,
this to happen to our lands
mm,
anymore. We don't
mm,
want this to happen to our oceans anymore. I
mm.
think they don't have a connection with the land like we do because they are not of the land.
Yes.
So henceforth they can sell it off and bid it off and just rape it still and
Mm,
still allow others to come in and do the
yes.
same to us. Mm, mm.
Yes. So yeah, I would like to have a message for my people, my Khoisan people. The message is that please, my sisters, my brothers, your mother is awake, your father is awake, your parents are awake. Come back to where you belong. Come take your rightful places. Don't be scared. God's God's favor is upon you. This is a year of transformation. Everything is ready. Allow yourself to transform. Allow yourself to be who you are supposed to be. Take back what's rightfully yours. We have backup. And thank you again, viewers, for watching. Sis, anything else?
I just wanted to, when you were talking, I remembered that my people are favored. As Khoisan, we are favored. If you are African, you are favored. I'll put it that way. If you are African on this
Mm,
African continent of
mm,
melanin descent, then you are favored. And particularly in Southern Africa, we are so favored. God gave you the best land um, where you can farm just about anything. You got the most fruitful land in all the world. Southern Africa has the most fruitful land. Zimbabwe used to be called the breadbasket of Africa, which in turn means the breadbasket of the whole world. Because everything, Africa feeds the rest of the nations, the rest of
mm.
the world. Africa, we feed them.
Yes.
And so if Zimbabwe feeds Africa, then Zimbabwe feeds the world, which is in the southernmost part of Africa. In South Africa, we have the most fertile land that you can find anywhere, from grapes to oranges to just any fruit you can think of, you can grow here. Any
Mm,
vegetable that you can think of, you can grow it in South Africa. Um, we have the best weather everywhere. We have 4 seasons. Best
mm,
climate. Beautiful of beaches and mountains and oh, it's paradise here.
mm,
I wish people could come and visit because people were taught that Africa is savage and there's disease and
mm.
meantime back at the ranch, these same liars who told these lies about Africa are here reaping the rewards, living their best life, becoming super rich. I said
Mm,
recently, Chinese, before they came to Africa, they went everywhere else. They went to America, they went to Australia, a lot of Chinese in Australia, Malaysia, those parts of the world. They went to the UK. They even went to the islands. They realized, no, there's no success here. As soon as they stepped onto African soil, they realized, oh my goodness, this is where the wealth is.
mm,
And it is only when they came to Africa and started mining here and started sending their people into Africa that they became a superpower. Um,
mm,
our Our lady behind the scenes just said that Namibia has been independent for 33 years.
mm,
Thank you for that. We just got the message there from Khadija. So we are so fortunate. We are favored above everybody else. We are favored. And it is time for us to get that favor back, take back what is our God given right, our land, and our resources. So, this is a new time. If we talk about astrology and spirituality and all of that, we are in the time of Aquarius, they say.
mm,
And Aquarius meaning water. And Water has been on the forefront of news, international news, since the beginning of the year. We saw the fighting in Alabama. We saw the fires in Maui, where the people were forced into the water to flee.
mm,
So, this is the time for us to wake up. I think this is the time for us to say, we've had enough. First Nations, I'm talking to all First Nations around the world
mm,
now.
mm,
First Nations continent. We have had enough. We have been marginalized and overlooked and oppressed on our own lands. And when I look at First Nations, I find that we are the ones who take care of the earth the most. We are the ones who love um, the balance the most.
mm,
We don't overconsume at all.
mm,
It is
mm,
inherent in our nature to want to take care of this earth because we have such a direct connection with Source, with the Almighty. So, on that, I just want to say we have everything we need. We have everything we need here. We just now need to come together and recognize one another.
Can I just add on that to what you've just said, the last sentence? We have everything we need.
Yes,
We can recognize that. But first we have to recognize us
we have to see each other
as the First Nation.
as the First Nation.
Thank you, sis.
On that note, viewers, thank you so much for joining us again for our discussions. I hope you find it interesting. Please don't forget to leave a comment down below,
Mm,
subscribe to the channel, and share our videos. And
mm,
we hope to see you next week. Friday will be another upload. Well, no, as a matter of fact, we have 3 uploads this week because we missed out when we were traveling to the people to go and see the people. So we are
mm.
in for an interesting week. Sis, we are ready to take this on. We have
Yes.
renewed and rejuvenated. Yes, yes, yes. And so thank you, viewers, and God bless you and keep you safe.
Mm,
Thank you, sis.
mm. Thank you and have a great night, have a great day, have a great morning, wherever you are watching from. May God be with us, guide us always. Thank you so much, viewers, for your time. Thank you for the likes and the comments. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Bye, everyone.